Marta Gregorczuk-Migdałek, London-based journalist, press officer of the Vote campaign. Krzysztof Bar, chairman of the Federation of Polish Student Societies. Tommy Tomescu, co-president of the Alliance Against the Discrimination of Romanians, Bulgarians and Central and Eastern Europeans. Elizabeth Niechwiadowicz, trustee, and on behalf of the Support of Poland Limited. Thank you for coming here, Elizabeth. Mirek Malewski, chairman of the Foley Court All Boys Limited. Iwona Mekarska, head teacher, director of Polish Supplementary School in Milton Keynes. Before I read out the few last names, it is very important for us, all the Polish people here, that we send Polish children to the Saturday schools. I know it's difficult. If I were young, I wouldn't want to go to a Saturday school. This is weekend, but it is a very important factor. Our children that are here, of course, they need to assimilate to the British culture, but they also, and foremost, need to be Polish. Remember and be proud of the culture of Poland. Ilona Korzeniewska, chief editor of the Polish Express. Teresa Bazarnik, chief editor of the Nowy Czas, New Time London. Lukasz Szlek, Labour candidate for the Southampton Council. Roman Zawadzki, chairman of the Polish-American Defense Committee. Adam Andrzejko, chief editor of the Nasze Strony. Except for that, we have thousands of supporters on the e-petition and on Facebook. Thank you very much. Damien, the motorcyclist who was attacked, prefers to stay anonymous. He doesn't want the attack to happen again. Therefore, he wrote a letter that will be read out here by the representative of the Polish bikers, Izabela. Warm applause to Izabela, representative of the Polish bikers. Please read out the letter from Damon.
I'm just afraid that I don't have such a good accent as Jurek and Kai, so please forgive me.
Don't worry. You're beautiful enough.
First of all, I would like to say thank you to the people who organized today's protest, especially my colleagues from Polish Bikers, and also to everyone who is gathered here today. A few weeks ago, my perception on living in the UK changed. I always believed that living in the UK would be free from discrimination. A place where people of any background are free to have their own opinions and beliefs. But what is even more important is that everyone is respected. I understand that there are many people who came here legally, who work hard and feel happy here, who after many years of being here return from their holidays to their houses in the UK and think, I'm glad I'm back home. A few weeks ago, I was assaulted by a group of people only because of a Polish flag on the back of my motorcycle helmet. During the attack, I heard shouts that I should go back where I came from and that I should go back to Poland. These strong words resonate in my memory, and so far I am reluctant to reconcile with this. I've been living and working in the UK for 9 years now. I pay taxes and I consider this country my home. I was not expecting that Poles will become a target for such political games. And that this I was not expecting that Poles will become a target for such political games and that this will have such a negative effect. The pointing at Poles by media and politicians won't bring effective solutions to the problems Great Britain is facing today. It just brings more hatred towards us. This is very sad because most of us here work hard and see this country as their home. I'm not an activist, and generally I'm even a shy person, but I'm really happy that my appeal to stand up against violence and discrimination in UK was cited and appreciated. I would once again say thank you for all the commitment and support that I've obtained for the last month during my traumatic time. Looking at all of the people who are supporting the opening of this protest, I truly am proud to be Polish.
We expect your respect! We expect your respect! We expect your respect!
We expect your respect.
And another one. Say it once, say it loud. I am Polish and I'm proud.
Say it once, say it loud. I am Polish and I'm proud.
Our next speaker today is Jan Niedźwiadowicz, a veteran for the fighting of the Polish cause and for the defending of the good Polish name. Let's welcome Mr. Jan Niedźwiadowicz, who came in from Cardiff, with a warm applause.
All right, thank you very much for all of you attending. As I say, I know some of you have travelled further than me, but it is a great honour to speak to you about the issues in hand. The PMI, which I am a moderator of, started 8.5 years ago due to various issues that we were encountering. Various issues that we were encountering in the actual media. So that's how I first got involved, and since then I've actually written on the topic of the origin of anti-Polish sentiment here in the United Kingdom, which I actually started, as some of the other speakers said, in the 10th century, because that's how long the actual relationship has been between Poles and Poland. Now, to be truthful, Poland has always been a bit of a secondary issue, or certainly a minor issue to the British. Having said that, they have largely stayed neutral. So, for example, during 1522, they could have chosen to ally with the Teutonic Knights, but actually remained neutral. So, obviously, we have had reasonably good relations. Poland did actually receive some sympathy during the partition era, which is not perhaps well known, but unfortunately this actual sympathy died out by the actual start of the First World War, and so by the time independence was given to Poland, British attitudes were quite negative, particularly the Liberal leader, Lord George, who actually made some very derogatory statements about Poles and Poland. Still, the situation did not overly change, and it wasn't until the Second World War, of course, that Poland suddenly became a major issue. In fact, Poles were greeted enthusiastically upon their arrival here in the UK, as there was a need for troops to defend Scotland. Sadly, with the German attack on their Soviet ally, Poland once again became relegated to a minor issue. By the end of the war, therefore, Poland found herself being betrayed in that the actions of the great powers, as particularly the two big ones, the UK and the US, allowed Poland to fall inside the Soviet zone. Public opinion had very much turned against the Poles being here in the UK. This was despite the fact that the Poles continued to contribute, such as clearing up the war mines that were lying around. Poles were encouraged to return home. However, in the spring of 1947, the Labour government did not force Poles to actually go back, though they did obviously put some pressure on them, but at least they were not deported forcibly back to Soviet-dominated Poland. Those Poles who had stayed in the United Kingdom found it very difficult to find jobs. The trade unions were very much against the Poles having jobs. One example, for example, was up in Scotland, where the Scottish trade unions wouldn't allow them to work in the mines. Jobs had to be offered to the British first, and generally got the much better jobs. Another example was a Pole who tried to apply to be a teacher but found that impossible due to the discrimination. Polish soldiers who were once being so greatly warmly welcome in the country were spat at. And there was even an incident where a child was being pushed in a pram and someone threw dirt into the pram. Another issue that Poles faced is jokes about our names. There was a case where a Polish officer who was asked, "Who is this Captain Shingle?" as the British were trying to use their own pronunciation for his name. Viktor Mashensky, in his excellent book, Hello, I'm Your Polish Neighbour, noted how his teacher would intentionally mispronounce his name for laughs. Personally, I was always known as Jan, even though here in the United Kingdom you're generally called at school by your surname. So it used to be things like Jones, here miss, Davis, here miss, Smith, here miss, Jan, here miss. During the 1960s and 70s, Poland was largely ignored, though apart from the time when Poland knocked England out of the World Cup. That was my first personal experience of actual anti-Polish sentiment when I got beaten up at school.
So did I.
Even though I was actually supporting England, I actually was kind of a little Englishman. I was kind of rejecting my Polish roots, and that was what triggered my interest in Poland, and since then I've read and studied Polish history.
Well done.
One of the tactics used here in the United Kingdom is to try and relegate Poland to being in actual Eastern Europe. This may sound like a minor issue, but it comes down to the fact that the western part of Europe is well known. We go on holiday in Spain, we drink German beers, we like French food, therefore they are known. By relegating Poland to be in some place called Eastern Europe, we're associated with countries like Georgia and Kazakhstan. Now, I've got nothing against them. I've got a lot of sympathy for Georgia over the war with Russia, and I also have an interest in Kazakhstan because that's where my father was deported to by the Soviets in the Second World War. But still, it actually makes us seem like an alien place, a place that you don't actually know. I actually went on holiday with a friend at work in Cardiff, where I live, because he was a bit concerned about going to Poland. This was about 6 years ago. How many other people would actually expect you to go with them on holiday somewhere? They travel all over the world, Thailand, South America, without worrying, but he still had concerns due to the way Poland was being treated in the media. This attitude of Poland being a backward third world country is best, well, one of the better examples is the way James Blunt took a photograph and pretended it was his hotel. It was in fact a block of flats being built next door. So obviously it looked dilapidated and in bad condition because it was open. He did make a half-hearted apology, but still claimed it was part of the hotel. The Polish Media Issue Group spoke to the hotel and can confirm the photograph was false and that it was definitely nothing to do with the hotel. Immigration has played an important role in Poland's history, whether it was those who chose to leave for various reasons in the partition era, through those that were deported by the Nazi Germans and Soviet Russians, or those who obviously came to work here in the United Kingdom legally in 2004. Still, Poles, though entitled to work here, were treated more like asylum seekers. As a result, there were various questions asked. It became a question, were we putting a strain on public services? No one was noting, it's been noted before, the way that fact is that we are contributing through things. I believe it was the Polish ambassador recently said on TV there are 3,200 Polish doctors in the UK. Of course, who paid for them? The Polish taxpayer, not the British. When it suits the British government, they obviously will want people to be here, but they obviously want the cream to come here. Well, in the main, with most polls has been pointed out, about half of them actually went to university. So they are getting the cream and they still want to blame us. One of the lesser parties here in the United Kingdom, the British National Party, claims that migrants are forcing down wages and undermining the British worker. They actually said, why would an employer put British teenagers through an apprenticeship when they can advertise for someone in Poland and get them the next day? Well, that's true, but the whole point is the work ethic here in the United Kingdom has to go up. as been shown by the Poles coming here. They came here to work, and that's why, though I am British, I have no objection. When a person comes to the United Kingdom and makes a positive contribution, I believe it is fair. One amusing incident that I'd like to just quickly talk about was the way the BNP decided to run a campaign. They used a Battle of Britain Spitfire. What they forgot to note was the flag on it. It was actually a Polish fighter. It was a Polish fighter that they decided to use to advertise Great Britain. As I said, one of the key issues is benefits. Tory backbenchers for Kettering claimed it was completely wrong for an Eastern European child to be working. Completely wrong for an Eastern European citizen to be working in this country with his family and home back in Poland, or whatever, claiming benefits off the taxpayer. As it's been pointed out, that's beneficial. If they were here, it would cost us even more. Yeah? And it's totally unfair. But the key thing I'd like to point out, it is British taxpayers paying for the actual child in Poland. They just happen to be ethnic Poles. They're paying their taxes here, and why shouldn't they get the benefits? When the revolution happened in North America, there was a statement made, no taxation without representation. Perhaps the Poles in the UK should have one, no taxation without rights to benefits. Though Poles obviously face racist attack, there are a number of other issues, such as being ripped off at work. Some are made to work 7 days a week, or have to take housing accommodation which is below substandard. I've known some Poles with 4 people sharing one room. And it's, as I say, maybe this isn't racist, but it certainly is a way of ripping off those who've come here to work hard. Newspapers have got the money to pay for the statistics to show how many crimes are committed by Poles. Again, Victor here did some research a few years ago and showed that Poles committed half the crimes compared to the average actual person living in the United Kingdom. Unfortunately, without the resources, we don't know how many racist crimes actually occur against Poles here in the United Kingdom. However, there is once again an initiative being put together by the organisers of this event with the Polish Media Issue Group and the Anti-Polish Monitor Group, considering how we can restart this research to actually try and estimate the exact number of crimes being committed against Poles, particularly racist. Still, I don't want to end on too negative a note, so there are some positives as well regarding things. For example, it was very pleasing to see that they actually put a statue of General Sikorski outside the Polish embassy.
Who murdered General Sikorski?
And they also allowed the Polish standards to be at the front of the parade. For those of you who don't know, after the Second World War, there was a parade here in London, and the Poles were not allowed to, well, they invited the fighter pilots, but they wouldn't allow the Navy and the Army, and the Polish fighter pilots refused to go because their other comrades wouldn't. But they did actually, in the more recent parade, allow them to be there. So I'd like to sign off by saying that I do think Poland and England now do have a common cause, and that hopefully together we can actually get across the message to the politicians, the media and the British public that we are in fact working here hard and that we are not leeches on their society. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Jan. We all have internet, at least most of us. If you get home, check out Polish Media Issues. This is an organization set up by Jan, and it has been a very crucial group that was and still is defending the Polish names. We need such groups. Our government not always defends us. Our ambassador defends us very often. I'm happy for that. But usually we need to take these issues into our own hands. That's why check out Polish Media Issues as well. Cooperate with us. Join us. To my! To my!
Polacy! To my! To my! Polacy! To my! To my! Polacy! To my! To my! Polacy!
We expect Some of you which were standing right here probably saw it, I didn't, but David Cameron was actually coming out right here in his car and he saw us and we were loud, so he definitely heard our message. David Cameron, this is just one of our first protests, but if needed and if the stigmatization of Poles will continue, we will continue as well. We don't want to be part of the political game. We don't want to be these muppets to be thrown around and insulted. We don't want that. We want to stay away from the political game. We want to do our own thing, live our good lives and contribute. But if the discrimination will increase and if it will continue to exist in the language of the politicians, we will be part of the political game. We will vote for those people who are supportive of Poland. We will vote against those who are insulting us. This is a very important message. Now I would also like to give a few words to Simke Steinberger. Simke Steinberger is a Polish Jew who some of you might have heard of. I have known him for a short time, but I have heard how much he has done for Polish community here in the UK. In Hackney, he has created a Polish center where he helps Polish people. How great is this? How many Polish centers? Thank you. How many Polish centers do we have? This is very important, but we unite today and we speak in the same language. All of us are standing side by side. We are very happy. We have football fans, we have students, we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have counselors, all standing side by side. Exactly.
Together!
Together. Simke, a few words from you, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Councillor Simke Steinberger from Hackney. I'm actually the deputy leader of the Conservative Party in Hackney, but I'm very, very upset to have to come here today to Downing Street. Normally when I come to Downing Street is to do things for the local people. I must say I'm proud to be Polish. My mother comes from Wrocław and I eat pierogi and today I'm here as being a Polish Jew. I believe that it's very unfair that the Polish community have been picked out, and it's very scary to hear the story about the guy on the motorbike who was attacked. For me, living in Stamford Hill, I always tell the Polish community it's so nice to see we have jedna Żyd, jedna Polska, jedna Żyd, jedna Polska. We have a very good relationship with the Polish community. Just 4 weeks ago, we made a trip to Parliament with the Polish community, and we went there to see how the House of Commons is, and we're trying to build a relationship so that two communities who are being in different times, now unfortunately it's the Polish community who are being the whole time stigmatized, find it hard, and we're trying to work together. We're going to be forming, after the election, we're going to be forming a Polish Jewish forum so that the communities can work even closer together. Before the guy was speaking about football, he was saying that although he's Polish, he's sad to say he supports England. I am actually the opposite. Although I'm English, I bought last year a Polish t-shirt, and on the back I put on it Żyd, so that everybody can know that my team is not England. I'm proud to be Poland, and I'm a winner. I don't mind if my team goes out in the first stage, because my team is Poland, not England. In Poland, I every week I watch out for the scores for Cracovia, because in the olden days they said that the Jewish community, when they were living in Poland, they were supporting Cracovia. I'm sorry for those who support Wisla, nothing against you.
We won!
But I support Cracovia. That's why here in London we also have a team which is called Tottenham Hotspur, which is equivalent to Cracovia in Poland. I just wanted to say that I'm proud to see, on my way when I was coming, I was thinking to myself, how many people are actually going to come? The Polish community never let us down, and they never will let us down. There's a love, I would say, the guy who organized it says it's about a few hundred. I think it's more than 1,000. And to me, this is great. And like you said, if we're going to have to continue, we will bring all our councillors from Hackney and the Conservative Party, because we do not believe that we should be discriminated against. And I hope that today the message is clear to all politicians from all parties. Do not discriminate against the Polish community. We are one of the biggest communities here in England. If you see the census, it's actually the second most spoken language in England. So there was this joke that when Poland was playing in the football, the Polish team was leaving the Luton airport to go to the European Cup, because half the Polish team was living here. So basically, we are proud to be Polish. We live here. We want you to let us live here in peace. We don't demand nothing. We're one of the only communities who don't have a Polish housing association. We don't ask for much. We don't want much, but leave us to live. I want to say once again, if I have to come out again here outside 10 Downing Street or wherever it is, I will definitely come. I want to thank all the organizers. I see there's all ages here, youngsters, old people, and it's a pleasure for me to be part of it. I also want to just mention my friend Philip, because Philip was the first person from the Polish community who I met, and we worked together. And actually last year we had a trip. There was 10 Jewish people who went to a trip to Poland to see the whole, or most of Poland. We started off in Lublin, we went to Rzeszów, we went to Luzhańsk. The Polish people asked me, where is this place where all the Żyd people go to cry? So this is Luzhańsk. There was a story in Israel once. The guy told, he could only speak English. He told the taxi driver, take me to the place where all the Jewish people cry. So the taxi driver took him to the tax office. So he said to him, I said, where the Jewish people cry, the wall. So he said, but the Żyd always go for the pieniądze, so it must be the tax office. So I just wanted basically to say it's nice to see you all here today, and I'm proud to be part of it. And I thank everybody for organizing it. And let's hope that David Cameron and Ed Miliband and all the other ones get the message and stop playing games with us. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Semke, very much for the speech. I really appreciate it. I wish we had more Polish Jews just like you, and I'm happy to hear that there is more and more standing on our side. This is beautiful, and this is something we should cherish. What is very important for us is to learn from Jews. Jews defend their name perfectly. If somebody insults a Jewish person, they have lawyers, they have groups cooperating in their own name. Why are we, the Polish people, not doing the same? We need to do the exactly same thing. Stand side by side. Sometimes Polish people quarrel. Oh yes, we love it. But when it comes to such important things as the insults coming from the main important building in this country, we need to unite and defend our good name. This is very important.
Don't be afraid!
So, do you think they heard us or not?
They heard
Let's do it once again.
Just keep going.
We expect your respect.
We expect your